Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. A closer look now at our top story today. Convicted killer Brian Dugan is expected to plead guilty to murdering 10-year-old Jeanine Nicarico back in 1983. The Naperville crime terrified the Chicago area and sent two men to death row for years before they were exonerated.
Defense attorney and our legal analyst, Thomas Glasgow, joins us now with a closer look at that case. What happened actually in court today. Now, they indicted him a while back. Why hasn't he been tried yet for this?
They indicted him back in 2005, but they indicted him based on the DNA evidence. Remember, this was at the end of 2005. This is a death penalty case. This is a murder case. They've got almost 26 years of transcripts. They've got two other trials that they went through. They've got retrials that they went through. They've got appellate court proceedings. All of this stuff has to be tendered to defense counsel in order for them to prepare for the case.
So what will actually happen today?
What he's going to do is presumably go in this afternoon and plead guilty. And he's going to go before the judge and say, Judge, I'm going to plead guilty in this case. Now, in death penalty cases, you've got a two-phase sentencing and trial. The trial part is not going to happen because he's going to plead guilty. Gotcha. You then are going to proceed to whether or not there's going to be the death penalty implemented in this case, and he has the choice of whether or not the judge or the jury ends up deciding as to whether or not he gets a recommendation for the death penalty. So he's chosen a jury because the state's attorney has said, we're not taking death off the table.
Now, Dugan is already serving 2 life sentences for 2 separate cases.
That's correct.
Getting into his psyche, why would he plead in this case right now?
There's a question as to whether or not he's utilizing this to attempt to sway the jury. I've admitted guilt, therefore, please have mercy on me and spare my life. In death penalty cases, when you go to the sentencing phase, you just have to have one person hold out, not vote for death, and you're not going to get a recommendation for the death penalty. But it brings into the bigger question of, with the moratorium on the death penalty in this state, why would DuPage spend that much money in order to go forward on something which he likely is not going to be sentenced to death, or actually carried out, the death penalty carried out. He would be sentenced to death. But the death penalty carried out in this case, in order to further the ends of justice, you've got a plea of guilty, you've got a life sentence. He's already serving life 2 times, plus 215 years for the crimes that he created before. The counter-argument is that this man, Dugan, is the poster child for the death penalty. His prior crimes are enough to show what a monster he was. And then you go into the Jeanine Nicarico case and what occurred. Hopefully, with this plea, there'll be some justice finally for Jeanine Nicarico and some closure for the family after 26 years of this kicking around the court system in the state of Illinois.
And he's not going to get that sympathy that he's really looking for.
No, I don't know. Juries are odd things, and especially in death penalty cases, people have very strong feelings about the death penalty.
That's true.
Both ways.
Well, obviously, we'll have you back on this one. I appreciate it. Good to see you guys.
Thanks,
Good to see you guys.
627.